Welcome in, everybody. Episode 13 coming at you on a Monday. I got the Road Dogs with me, Richard, the King, Mr. Hardwood, J Corp, the Prowler. How's it going, fellas?
Going pretty good, man. Fresh off the natty win, man. Last Monday. It's a fucking hell of a ride. I knew they were gonna do it all along. How you doing, Corp?
Doing good and busy in life, but I'm happy to be here sitting down talking to you guys.
I want to take a second, welcome in the Alpha Army, and drop some handles. If you guys are listening to this and you have not liked and subscribed, whether that's on Apple or Spotify or YouTube, please do so. You can also follow us on Twitter, aka X, at Alphas Talk Pod. Rick, you got the Facebook handle?
Yeah, at Alpha Talks podcast.
And then on Facebook at Alpha Talks Podcast. Please, please, please like, subscribe, follow as we build up our base. But yeah, man, yeah, Rick, that was a great game. We're gonna get into that early into our news of the week, so don't gotta touch too much on it there. We got a jam-packed show for you guys. We're gonna talk Masters, we're gonna talk NBA playoffs. Let's jump right in.
News of the week.
Okay, as always, we start things off with our Degens on Sports segment. And the first segment topic is our Around the League. These are the biggest stories in sports of the past week, according to us, the Alphas. We go around the horn. We each pick what we think was the biggest topic of the week, and we debate that and ask a question out to the group. I am going to kick us off. And as Rick alluded to, Michigan caps a dominant season and wins it all. My question is this: where does this Michigan team rank all time in terms of the college basketball greats?
So I'll kick off first. I think it's right up there in some of the top teams. I mean, they had 37 wins. Their point per game differential was plus 17.8. 29 10-point wins. 16 20-point wins, 11 30-point wins, including the first time in tournament history. Uh, the first 5 games of the tournament, they won by. Um, they scored 90 plus points every game. Yeah, I mean, it was just a phenomenal team. I mean, the haters can hate and say, it's a bot team, but whatever. Fuck them. Go blue.
All right, Rick going with one of the all-time greats. No definitive ranking there, Rick.
Um, no, not exactly, but I'm putting it up there in one of the best, though.
Corp, what you got for us, man?
Well, from a Michigan standpoint, I mean, 37-3 with a national championship. That's great. That's something that when you compare it to the great teams at Michigan, you got the Fab Five and the team from 1989 with Glenn Rice. When you just compare those three teams, you got to put them at the top of the list. They did the thing, but they did it in an era where all teams are stacked, and this team was not just a champion, but they proved that they were the best team on the court, not only in the tournament but all year long. And they proved it by getting a championship. So this is one of the best teams in Michigan history, if not the best team. And then when you compare that to all time, I'm sure there's some really great teams, but in recent memory, I don't think any of them had the caliber of talent. And I think what's really going to cement this is the draft coming up for the NBA. And when these players go and they dominate in the NBA, it keeps it front of mind for everybody that, oh, they were a part of that Michigan team that dominated. And those are the types of things that make it memorable much longer than most national championship teams. So it's a top tier. It's something that I expect Michigan to kind of continue to produce high level teams and potentially have these types of conversations in the future. But that starting five, that group that really dominated was elite. And it's, it's hard to say, what teams overall would be better than that team if they played in a one and done scenario.
Yeah, so when I look at it, I mean, this is definitely one of the best teams of all time. I've been going back and forth. I think it's a top 2 team. I think the only team that you could debate as being better would be that undefeated Indiana Hoosiers team from the 70s under Bobby Knight. Obviously, different eras. And I'm not going to get back into those Kareem UCLA teams. But in terms of the last 50 years, I think it's Michigan and Indiana. And I do think that this Michigan team is the most dominant team in the last 50 years. And I know that's going to come off as a homer. I know that's going to come off as, oh, this guy's a Michigan man. That's why he's saying that. But if you just look at the numbers, so here's the facts. They're the number 1 rated KenPom team of all time. So that speaks volumes for itself. We're all big fans of KenPom and what those metrics mean. Michigan's the number 1 rated KenPom team of all time. They also gave, as a number 1 seed, they gave another number 1 seed the worst loss in tournament history. So in the battle of 1 seeds, which can only happen in the Final Four, Michigan whooped Arizona's ass like we've never seen another 1 seed whoop another 1 seed. Margin of victory. So this team, like Rick said, I think it's 29 double-digit wins this year. They didn't just beat teams, they destroyed them. And then the other wild stat is they won every true road game that they played this year, including going undefeated on the road in conference play in the Big Ten. So these are just all factual things that this Michigan team accomplished. And I'm not sure if you're going to see this done again in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I think it's even harder to do it nowadays because the playing field is really leveled. It's not like it was back in the day where Duke and Kansas and some of these more prolific blue blood programs had a massive advantage when it came to recruiting. With the NIL and with the open market, more teams have more money to spend, which is leading to a greater distribution of talent amongst the teams. So to see the dominance that Michigan had and to see how Dusty May built this team and how unselfish it was, because we are in a selfish player era. Guys don't want to be the third option. They don't want to have reduced stats. They're entering the portal to get those big paydays and to put up big numbers and to hopefully go on to the league. I think this team, which is super highly respected, and I seen Andy Katz put out a list of his top champions over the last 10 years, and he had Michigan number 1. But I think the admiration and respect with this team is only going to grow over time because I think what they accomplished will be very, very hard to replicate in this modern era where we got 68 teams in the tournament. It's a one and done, and anyone can beat anyone with terms of the depth and the talent. So give me Michigan 2025, 2026, Michigan Wolverines as the greatest team in college basketball history. And as a Michigan man and a Michigan fan, that's just pretty damn cool to say. And I think it was awesome to see. That's a once in a generational team. I don't think it will be the last title that Dusty May wins here at Michigan, but I do think this team will go down as the greatest of all time and hold that mantle for quite some time. Obviously, records are meant to be broken and history is meant to be rewritten, but I think they'll keep a stranglehold on this one for a while.
Yeah, and I definitely think to touch on the, like you said, the unselfish thing, and it's one of the most unselfish teams I think we've ever seen. I mean, to have like I can't remember who it was that said it, but I mean Dusty hit on it too about how hard it is for certain guys to like, oh hey, you're going to be on the bench at this point in the game, and they all want to be in the game, but it's um it's especially in no one wants to be the third option, or no one wants to be like the I think it was McKinney at the after the at the halftime of the game against Arizona. They were talking about they were interviewing him and talking about the injury to Yaxel, and he mentioned how we have 9 starters on this team, and as much as it sucks that he's injured, but we just all got to step up and do our share, and anybody can step up at any time, and and they say that the championship was bought, which is I think is bullshit. A bunch of these guys were basically passed it off. Cadeau from North Carolina, and then Mara, and who else was both? They were both bench players last year.
Yeah, and I think you talk Trey McKinney. Trey McKinney could have started for 40, 50 other teams that made the tournament, maybe 60. You know what I mean? Like he might have been a starter on almost every other team in the tournament, and he was coming
Right.
off the bench at Michigan. Just a testament to how deep this team was. I mean, Trey McKinney was a McDonald's All-American and played in a bench role all year. And it's just, like I said, this team's just absolutely stocked, loaded, unselfish. And it was a pleasure to watch, and something that I will never forget for the rest of my life. And I know Michigan fans, college basketball fans will not either. All right, Corporal, around the league, what do you got for us? Corp, you're on mute.
All right. So as we leave the March Madness in the rear view and look ahead to the NBA playoff start this week, what are the best bets? Is OKC and the Spurs are definitely public favorites and thought of. What are your guys' thoughts for placing future bets, and where your head stands on the playoffs for the NBA going forward?
Well, everyone's been talking about the West, right? The West, the West, the West. I don't feel like Oklahoma City is as dominant this year as they were last year. I do think the Spurs are really good, but I don't think either of those teams or any other team in the West is unbeatable. So when I'm looking at leverage and potentially getting a good cash out offer, I'm definitely looking at the East and how the seeding sort of shaked out. I think the winner of I expect the chalk in the first round. So I expect the semis to be the top 4 seeds in the East. And I think the winner of that Cavs Pistons series is going to be in a really good position to make the finals and make some noise and potentially win it all with an underdog status. So when you look at those odds, Cleveland is actually plus 1,600, and the Pistons, Detroit versus everybody represent, is getting absolutely disrespected at plus 2,200. They're giving them the 4th best odds in the East when the Pistons held on to the 1 spot in the East since December 1st, with Cade Cunningham missing a massive stretch of games with the collapsed lung. So I do think Cleveland is good. But I think whoever wins that series, I don't mind betting both of them, knowing one of them is going to come out of that series. And I like whoever comes out of that series to come out of the East. So either Cavs plus 1,600 or the Pistons plus 2,200 is where my head's at.
Yeah, I'm right about the same spot. Either the Cavs or the Pistons. Fuck the Celtics. I don't think they're gonna make it again. I think and the Knicks, they're too wishy washy. Can never decide on who's gonna win them the game. But in the West, I agree with what you said, Sean, on OKC. I don't think they're as dominant as they were last year. I mean, they've missed what's his name?
Jalen Williams.
Yeah, Jalen Williams. He was out for majority of the season. He came back for a little while and was out for the rest of the year, basically. Um, they've had some other injury issues too with Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren, but nothing too big. But yeah, I don't think anybody's unbeatable in the West, like you said. I do think that the team that I'm going to be picking out of the West, though, is going to be the Spurs, and the team that I'm going to be picking out of the East is same as you, is either the Pistons or the Cavs.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. I do think that it's going to be chalk through the first round, and then we're going to see some nice matchups. Um, I think that we're probably looking at, you know, the Pistons Cavs. I like that angle. Um, but I don't think that outside of the Celtics, the East doesn't have the proven championship caliber team. That can't doesn't mean they can't make it there or contend for a championship. But I'm looking at the West and saying if it's not the Thunder's year because the value is absolutely not there on them. Their path to the conference finals is pretty easy. Um, the playing winner and then the Rockets most likely. And then looking at the other side, it's going to be Spurs Nuggets most likely. And the winner of that game is probably going to go on and face. And I really just think that Denver's on a collision course with the OKC in the conference finals. And the winner of that game is probably going to win the championship. And if Joker is playing against any of these teams in the East, I think that is a big advantage for the Nuggets. He is somebody that is very difficult to guard, and when you don't have knowledge, the times that the Nuggets have failed has been against the Thunder and against the Timberwolves team that was like built to stop them. And this team is better than it was last year, and they took OKC to a game seven. I expect that the Nuggets will be in the finals, the conference finals against OKC, and I think this year they take them down, and the Nuggets get to hoist another banner this year. So my thoughts are let's take them plus 1,000 now, and by the time it gets to the championship time, we're looking at value already. Probably can early cash out in a later date to get value there. But I think they're on the path to win the championship, and that's who
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would win on.
if the Nuggets make it, though, you're not cashing them out. Like, if you take the Nuggets and they make the finals, you're riding that against anyone in the East.
No,
For
you
sure, I would
if you're
think.
gonna cash out, you're probably looking at like a 2-2 series in against the Thunder in the finals, and you're just trying to make a little bit of
And you're
profit at
trying,
that point.
yeah, yeah, and you're trying to make $100 or something at that point.
Yeah, that's where you're doing it. I think that I was really bummed to see the Timberwolves getting the 6th seed. I thought that if they could have gotten a better draw, that they're a fun team to watch. I like that, but Ant-Man 316 has always been somebody I enjoyed, but
I I
it's
I did see some crazy, like, the long shot odds were more long than I thought. And just to throw these out here, so the Rockets are plus 6,000, the Timberwolves are plus 9,000, the Lakers plus 25,000. Um, any of those teams got a shot. Obviously, they're so in the West right now. Basically, they're saying no one's got a shot, but besides OKC and San Antonio, and they're given really good odds to sort of take those dogs. Any of those long shot dogs got legs?
I mean, from my perspective, the only one that I would really see with elite talent would be the Timberwolves, but they face the Nuggets to start. And then I don't think the Rockets would it surprise anybody if KD's playing for a championship finally. Probably a little bit surprising, but they have some talent, but I'm not sure that they're ready to beat the Thunder. And I just think we see these numbers the way they are is because the Thunder opened the year at minus or plus 200 odds. They've been right around plus 100 odds the whole season, and they've been taking on money. The talking heads, the people that do this are constantly supporting the OKC repeat, and that's something that has been very loud all season. And it's
Oh, yeah, I
hard
mean
to.
to make the finals. They're on FanDuel. They're minus 155 and plus 115 to win it all.
Yeah. So I think that's their liability. And if you're looking at getting money away from or betting with the casino and they need the Thunder to lose, then I'm not taking those odds. I'm looking at somebody else. Lakers with Luca hurt, maybe they can pull out a few wins and get him back. I don't think that they're the team. Um
They're
and
down Luca and Austin Reeves too.
yeah, and that's why they're plus 2,500. So
Luca's not done though, right? Like,
Yeah, Luca
is
was when he went out. They said that he was going to be out 3 weeks to a month, and that was about I think about 2 weeks ago. So he's probably got
yeah.
2 weeks left.
The Lakers just almost need to try to survive that first round matchup. I'm not sure who they play. I haven't looked at.
it's Lakers Rockets.
Yeah, it's like, man. Yeah, I just saw plus 25,000, and it's like obviously they're not counting on Luca being playing early in the series, but man, for some reason LeBron can go vintage. And what's Austin Reeves' status? Like, is he going to be back?
That I am not sure on when he's supposed to come back.
Yeah, because if he is coming back, he can be Luca light in terms of the offensive end of the basketball. Like that dude can score, and if you give him more offensive responsibility, he can do everything. He's a poor man's Luca,
Okay, so
essentially.
it says right here, Austin Reeves oblique expected to be out until at least May 1st. Same thing with Luca.
Yeah,
So
so that's why those odds are. I mean, that's a ways down the line, man.
Yeah, he's effectively out, and
I mean,
that's what
you're
I'm
talking.
reading too.
I mean, he's out the first. They're both out the first round.
right.
So if you did take the Lakers minus 25,000 and LeBron went vintage LeBron and somehow willed them to a first round win, and the Lakers get both of those guys back, that like your cash out would soar. Like if both of those guys come back and they're healthy and they play well,
Yeah.
and the Lakers win a game or two early in that second round series, but it's a risky bet with both of those. I just with LeBron being 41, man, I'm not sure he's got to turn the clock back for an entire series. He may be able to steal a game, but there's not much else around him on that squad with those
Yeah,
two dudes
there's
out.
definitely a game or two in him where he'll take over, and if you time it up right, you can get some value of betting the individual game. But I'm not necessarily looking at, even betting the series, and you probably don't get much good odds on that. And so it's just like I'm looking at the futures of the Nuggets winning it, and then probably looking at like a Nuggets Cavs finals.
All right. What we do know for sure, outside of the first round, which normally sucks in the NBA, it gets really good in the conference semis and beyond. So I'm definitely looking forward to playoff basketball because NBA regular season basketball is pretty tough watch, at least for me. But I definitely do love playoff ball. So excited for that. Young Richard around the league.
All right. So Rory goes back to back at Augusta at the Masters. Does he make it 3 in a row in 2027? And where does Rory rank all time?
So I'm not sure if you guys caught the clip, but it was interesting. So Rory hasn't played any tournaments the last 3 weeks. And he basically took the time. He would hop on his private jet, fly down to Augusta, play a
Practice.
practice round, and then fly back home, which is absolute genius. I think you'll see more of the big name guys that can afford taking a few weeks off tour do that. Guys like Kepka and Scotty. I think they might try to mimic that because that was a stroke of genius by Rory. And you could tell just his comfort level. Having the monkey off his back was obviously huge. But yeah, minus 12 through 36. And he faced some adversity on Sunday. But yeah, I do think because he has this formula, and he'll definitely do that again next year. And there's only a few other guys that can sort of afford to do the same thing. I think he does got a really good shot to make it 3 in a row. The odds are against him just from a field when you look at percentages. And Scotty's going to be hungry to try to get back into the winner's circle. But I definitely think he's got a good shot. Gun to my head, I would say no. Betting wise, he won't make it 3 in a row, but I would not be shocked if he does. I definitely think he will be in contention again next year. In terms of where does Rory rank all time, I'm putting him at number 5 right now, which may be a little bit higher than some other people have on their list. But there's only been 6 players to ever win the career Grand Slam, to win every major. Rory is one of those 6. And in terms of the amount of majors of those 6, he has the 5th most. So that's where my reasoning came in. And he's got some more work to do to, obviously, Jack and Tiger are in a league of their own, and I don't think he'll ever sniff that air. But I think he could pass the other guys like Gary Player and Walter, and move into maybe that number 3 rank when it's all said and done, especially if he can get up to like 9, 10 majors overall. So excited for Rory. And I definitely think he gets another major at some point this year. And I think he's a threat to win Augusta every year moving forward, until he really gets into those mid 40s when it seems like the golfers start slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely put together a nice resume, 6 major championships, held the number 1 spot in the world for over 100 weeks. One of 4 golfers to ever do back-to-back at the Masters. I mean, this is elite type playing. He's 36 years old, so he's got plenty more time. You said they start to fall off at 40, but that doesn't mean usually the greats can do it much longer. Things have definitely changed as far as taking care of your body and how people go about doing that. And so there's a lot of, he has a good resume, and there's a lot of things saying that he could golf for a lot longer if he wants to. Then you throw in what you said, Sean, about about just kind of trying to win this tournament and focusing on this rather than all the other tournaments. It's very very elite in the way that you go about that. Not everybody can do that from a financial standpoint, but also with timing and all that. And he puts it together and shows that that's what he's about. And so it will be great theater this time next year when he's back at it and we're watching to see if he's going to three-peat. I think that's going to make, some very non-golfers interested in golfing, at least for that weekend.
Oh, dude, the excitement level for that going into next year is going to be very high. I think you're right, though. Like, that's going to be, there will be way more juice for the 2027 Masters than there was for the 2026 Masters, because that three-peat is, I mean, you're talking like it would be insane. And I think everyone is going to be watching every round, every shot, like they're going to be following what Rory does. Like, that's going to be the talk. It's not going to be like, oh, who's leading? It's going to be like, what's Rory doing?
Especially if he comes out and has a good couple days to start it, then it's going to be like everybody's watching it on Saturday and Sunday, and that's going to be the thing to do, like must-see TV, which you don't get a lot of these days with golf. You have these moments in time, and you got to kind of be ready to go when that happens. When you start thinking all time, it's really hard to judge somebody's career while they're still playing it. And so if he's got 6 majors, there's a bunch of golfers, about 10 of them, that at least 10 that have more than he does as far as major victories. But all of them don't have the same resume, and that those are career stats for they're not playing anymore. And so he's got plenty of time to reach top 3 potentially, like you said. But he's got to be, either in the top 10 or right around there. He's definitely top 15, and that's kind of being a harsh critic and not really watching these other guys golf. I can't really speak to a lot of these old timers, but the numbers and the statistics are what they are, and he's got a nice resume. And when it's all said and done, he's going to be a top tier golfer. Maybe he is top five right now. It's just hard to kind of put him ahead of some of the guys that have better numbers currently or more majors and certain things. But you got to look at the resume as a whole. And I mean, he's definitely elite. And if he keeps doing this, I mean, um, he's going to go to one of those things. He wins this, and then he's going to have a lot of haters too. And that's how it works. Just like, the Chiefs or the Patriots, people jump on the bandwagon and love him. And then, you know what? You've won too much. I hate you. And that's just the way of sports.
Unless you're
Yeah,
Tiger
so
Woods. Everyone just loved Tiger.
yeah, you get 4 chances, 5 chances. So yeah, following Rory's last year in the back-to-back at the Masters, and completing the Grand Slam, 6 major championships. He's widely considered the top 10 to 15 player of all time, about what you said, Corp. But I would say he's definitely the greatest European golfer ever. He's got 29 plus PGA Tour wins, 120 weeks at number one. He's viewed as the dominant player, post Tiger Woods. With recent wins, he's being pushed closer to into the top 10, where I think inside about the top 10 is where he should be. He's, like I said, he surpassed PGA 29 PGA Tour wins, and he's closing in on top 10 all-time win list. And he's only one of 2 golfers to cross the $100 million in career PGA earnings.
Yeah, just think if Rory didn't choke away some of these too, because those 6 majors could easily be 10 right now. I can think of a couple that are playing in my head that he could have easily won, easily won, and did not. So, yeah, but I think he's got about 10 more years, 8 to 10 more years of like sort of prime golf. So he's definitely got a lot of time to pad the resume. And he's definitely in a unique advantage money wise, because like we talked about, only a couple guys on tour can maybe afford a private to not play in the tournament. So no earnings. And then the cost of a private jet to fly to and fro to play practice rounds exclusively at Augusta. So I think three-peat is real, and it's like Corporal said, if he is in contention going into the weekend next year, that's going to be the closest thing in terms of like Tiger-esque vibes, where everybody's going to be watching one person that we had since Tiger at the 2019 Masters. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see how it shakes out.
I don't know if either of you guys see that he's like an investor in this thing called Whoop, and he wears one of the company's wristbands while playing, and allows the brand to share his data. So his strict routine during the PGA Tour season to ensure proper rest and recovery. He has no caffeine after 2 p.m. Last meal is 2 hours before bed. Takes magnesium and theanine for sleep quality. Blue light blocking glasses in the evening, sauna or Epsom salt bath when available, cool room temperature. Follows the same 3-hour routine before every round. Arrive at the course, warm up in the gym, eat breakfast, hit balls on the range, putting green. And then it says, believes his focus on longevity will help him play another 10 years at a high level.
Yeah. I mean, golf is an underrated physical sport. Like when you're younger, you look at golf and you're like, oh, golf is where the less athletic people, like that's what the less athletic people play. You start getting older, man, like even just walking 18, like man, oh man, the workout that is. And Rory's getting there 3 hours before he's hitting the gym. He's stretching, doing light lifting, hitting the range. Like these guys are top tier athletes, and like you guys both hit on, the body management is extending longevity in terms of peak performance. So what used to be you fall off the cliff at 40 for these top tier guys that are really invested in their body, they can push that out 5 more years. So same thing with the NBA, right? We've seen it with LeBron. We're seeing it with Steph Curry. 35 used to be dead. Like when you turn 35 in the NBA, it was like, this guy's dead.
Yeah.
Dig him a grave. And now you're seeing some of the top tier guys extend that to 40, like Curry's 38, LeBron's 41, KD, I think, is 38 or 39. So you're definitely seeing the top tier guys extend that shelf life with the body maintenance, the rest recovery, and just everything we know more about sports science. So, yeah, and I love it, dude. Let's keep the legends playing at a high level longer. That's what it's all about as we infuse the new young talent into the game, whatever sport it may be. All right, we're shifting into our local topic. As you guys know by now, this is a Detroit sports-based podcast, and we want to give a little bit of local flavor each week. So we do include Detroit, Michigan, talking about the Red Wings. So the Red Wings were in first place on January 29th. They had a 90% likelihood to make the playoffs. They went 9-18 in their last 27 games and had been eliminated from playoff contention. This will be their 10th straight year not making the postseason. It is the longest active streak in all of hockey. So, where do we stand on the Yzerplan? And if you were the owner, what moves need to happen?
So I think, if I was the owner, unfortunately, we got Illich Holdings owning the team, but if I was the owner, it'd be the Yzerplan. It would be over, and I would blow up the whole team. Besides very few guys, Brenda Cat, guys like that. I would keep guys like him around, but everybody else, I would trade Larkin. Everything needs to change.
He definitely cannot argue that point of view. Yzerman's been here 7 years. He's 0 for 7. That's definitely
the last couple years, he's done nothing, and then this year he traded away a top prospect and a first round pick for a 34, 35-year-old defenseman.
Yeah, his trades have not been good. That is for sure. Corporal, interested to hear where you stand on this.
Yzerman has killed the lifeblood of the Wings fan base in Detroit. He's 180 and 270 overall since taking over the job. Like I guess that doesn't account for this season, but that's just as bad. It's something where it's a struggle to get on board with what's going on. The drafts have been underwhelming. The signing of 1 year, 2 year contracts, getting nobody worth anything worth watching. Our goaltenders have not been good. There's got to be something that you can hang your hat on. And drafting one defensive player as somebody as Mo Sider, it's like, yeah, that's good, but that's not how the game has changed. We went from 22 straight playoff appearances to 10 straight misses. And he's been a key cog in the reason that we haven't made it there. It's very disappointing. It's shifted a lot of focus to other sports in the area because it's not worth it. His record in March is terrible. There's just so many factors that if he was not Yzerman, if he was any other player, any other person, he'd be fired. So let's figure out how to get caught up with the rest of the league. I understand all-star players are just growing on trees, but you got to be able to get a team together that can compete so that way you can get 1 or 2 more options on the team. It's frustrating because growing up, going to the Wings game was something that was an awesome thing to do with the kids, the family, whomever, go down there. But now it's like a waste of time they're not going to make it. And it's funny, you hear people at the beginning of the year talk about, oh, the Wings are doing good, and now we're right where I thought we'd be. And I'm sad to be right on this one.
I think you nailed a couple things there, Corp. If it wasn't Steve Yzerman, right, like a guy that we all grew up admiring in some form or fashion, like if this was Jim Smith, just some random general manager, the outcry to fire him would be rabid right now. Rabid. And a move would have been made. But the fact that you're dealing with one of the best players in franchise history up there with Gordie Howe and Sergey, it's just like it makes it, and Nick Lidstrom, no disrespect to Nick, it just makes it that much tougher to make that move or decision because biasly, like we're like, how do you fire a hero, like a living legend? And especially a guy that had crazy success with Tampa Bay and building that out. The only thing I will say, and I'm not being an Yzerman defender, I'm not making excuses. Hockey is the longest rebuild process, and Kenny Holland left the cupboards absolutely barren. So should it, I mean, there's no excuse, right? It's year 7. Like we should be in the playoffs and competing by now. But when you draft these hockey players, like you're drafting 17-year-old kids that a lot of times are still going on and playing college. So like you're drafting them before when they're 3-4 years out from making an impact on your pro roster, best case for the majority of these guys. So if you're looking for positives, this was the most points and wins that they've had in his tenure. I think the biggest disappointment's been the lack of moves during the offseason, the underwhelming free agent signings, the inactivity at the deadline, the head-scratching activity at the deadline, being afraid to pull the trigger and get sort of the younger superstar. They had an opportunity to trade for Quinn Hughes at this past deadline, and Quinn Hughes wants to be in Detroit, would have signed an extension, and Yzerman didn't pull the trigger. So I do think he's going to get another year, and I think he has to go. Like if the big name free agent no longer wants to come to Detroit, which I don't think they do, then Yzerman needs to go out and make an offseason trade splash and land someone that provides legitimate pop and punch to make a run with this core. Because what I do know is he only has 1 year left. If they fall flat next year, regardless if he's Steve Yzerman or not, he will be fired. So he is coming into that make or break year. A lot like you remember with Bob Quinn, right? Remember when Bob Quinn, we all knew going into that year when he drafted Okuda that it was going to be like a make or break year. Like you just know that coming into this year, it's going to be make or break for Yzerman. So he better be aggressive in the offseason because this is the bottom line, fellas. The team that he is putting on the ice right now isn't good enough to actually compete and contend. So we need more talent, and that starts with the guy running the squad. And we can't just sit back and count on the young guys because they're not developing at a rate fast enough that's going to let Stevie see this through.
Yeah, and you can't be hockey town when you're losing this much. And it's there's a lot of other towns that hate that we're hockey town, and I used to put it in people's face, but now it's like I have to be the silent, it is what it is. There's nothing.
Yeah.
How can you be hockey town?
All right, boys, let's keep it moving. Segment number 2 of the Degens on Sports. It's the Gambling Gurus.
Gambling Gurus Weekend Bets.
All right, so interval 2 ended. young Richard and I barely missed our bets. I was one Trey McKinney point away. Damn it. Rick missed his alternate over by a couple of points. Real close. It wasn't a great overall betting week for the group last week, but Corporal did cement the interval 2 win. Rick and I both tied in last place. We are going to make some adjustments moving forward to avert ties and to end up in a bet off type situation. But let's talk some business in terms of punishment. Corporal, I know we've been going back and forth on some dates on the calendar. What are we looking like for the nails?
So yeah, we're looking at some stuff. I just started that new gig, so it has been quite busy, and so putting something on the calendar has been difficult because my schedule is not mine that I keep. It is kept for me now, so the days fill up extra quick in a way that I wasn't 3 weeks ago. So we'll get something put together and nailed it down. I definitely want to get it done with and move forward, and then that way I can laugh at you guys and your punishment. And so we'll get it locked in. This only being my second week, and I've worked about 3 times the amount of hours that I did at my previous job. So not making excuses, just having some life-changing things that kind of affect how I was approaching this situation to begin with. So um,
Is it fair to say we can knock this out by May 1st?
I would think so. I think that I can get that done. And once I get another week or so, I'll have a little bit of a flow to my work day where I'll know when I have the opportunity to put something on the calendar. But it has been like training plus appointments plus, I don't need to get into it. But yeah, we'll have a little bit. So this time next week, I should have a better understanding of my work week and when we can do it. And if I have to do it on a Saturday or Sunday morning, we can get that done.
Okay. All right, Corporal. So we went back and forth. Me and Rick just decided to take the joint punishment in order to keep this thing sort of moving and on the tracks. You being the winner of the second interval, what have you decided to assign us for sucking?
Well, I think there's one that's a glaring one that has been very obvious to me because it has the same amount of longevity as the nails, and so I don't know if that's even on the table. We kind of discussed some different things.
Not on the table.
So it's just so I haven't fully decided because that was where my head was at from the beginning, and so we're looking at it, and I mean, there's a handful of these that would be fun to do, and watch you guys, um, suffer through. Um, I'm trying to because it's too. It's like I want to make sure that we could do this, but I mean,
You need
go ahead.
you need another week or what?
Yeah, give me a week because I think that I want to make sure it's something that fits both of you guys and not just um, dial it in, and that way we'll come to the table ready to go, and I'll have the punishment to be announced next week.
Okay. So we'll have a date for your nails and the punishment announcement next week. All right. You heard it. We will deliver on this. And like I said, so we are going to make some minor changes moving forward to try to get more increased points onto the standings. And what that means is we're gonna scrap the group parlay. The group parlay was over in interval 2. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna continue with our bet of the week, same type of point format as before. The bigger odd bets, the more points you can earn. And then we are going to add a dog of the week. So a plus money bet that each of us individually give. That can be a single game. That can be a parlay. That can be whatever you want it to be. But any leg of that has to be dogs. So if you want to do a parlay, every leg of that parlay has to be a plus money leg.
Okay.
All right. So let's get right into it with the bets of the week.
The Hardwood King.
All right, Rick, what do you got for us? And let's just do this where you give both. So start with your bet of the week and then go into your dog of the week.
All right. So my bet of the week is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be a 2-leg alternate NBA for the Heat, plus 10.5 alternate spread, and the Heat Hornets over, alternate 209.5. That'll be minus 162 on FanDuel. And then my dog of the week is also going to be the Heat money line at plus 181. Coach Spoelstra is pretty damn good, and I think that he's undefeated in the play-in games. So he treats these games like game sevens, and he's pretty damn good in them. And yeah, let's go Heat plus 181.
All right, you heard it there from the king.
The Hardwood King. The Prowler picks.
The Prowler,
Oh,
bet of the week and dog of the week. What do you got?
all right. So kind of unknowingly, I picked the Heat plus 5.5 for my pick of the week. I think that they have a chance to win outright. I feel like Beach kind of nailed it. Spoelstra really goes after it hard here. They're playing against a young Hornets team that I'm not sure they're ready for the big stage and the this type of environment, this one and done type scenario, all on the line in this one game. So I expect the Heat to kind of advance and win, but I'll take the 5.5 in a close game. They're at least going to keep it close. This isn't going to be a blowout. And then the dog of the week. I like the Warriors on the money line. I think this is something where both both teams here, I believe it's the Clippers and the Warriors playing off. I just think that the Warriors are the superior team with what they have. They can get through this, manage this game. And I feel that they get one more win before Father Time catches up to them in the next round of their next game. And but this particular game, I like the Warriors as my dog of the week. Arr, arr, arr.
There you heard it from the Prowler.
The Prowler picks. The Diesel Diamond.
We're going a little diamond for you boys, and we're going baseball tomorrow. Dodgers, Mets, under 7.5. You got two stud pitchers going. You got Yamamoto and you got McLean going for the Mets. I expect runs to be at a premium. This has 3-1, 3-2, 4-1, something along those nature written all over it. I'd be absolutely shocked to see this one go over. And then my dog of the week, Wednesday, play-in action in the NBA. I like the Magic plus 102 against the Sixers. Joel Embiid is expected to not play, which gives Orlando a massive advantage compared to if he was going to be on the floor. We haven't saw this Orlando team healthy together for the majority of the year, but they're expected to have all of their pieces. So we'll finally get to see Banchero and Franz and Desmond Bain and Jalen Suggs and Wendell Carter Jr. all on the court together. I think they get that done and beat the Sixers in Philly on Wednesday. And that is my dog of the week.
The Diesel Diamond.
We're We're shifting gears. It's that time. We are entering segment number 2. It's the Alphas on Action.
Questions of the week.
So we are now entering the more life-based portion of the podcast. So this is a sports and life-based podcast. We start off, we hit you hard with sports. We go around the league. We go gambling gurus, and then we hit the Alphas in action. And we start that off with our question of the week. This is the group text, the lunch table, the happy hour, water cooler, office topic of the week that you guys are dying to know from the Alpha perspective. We will mix some sports in here, but it will be a lot of it based on life. I will kick us off, keeping it on theme with the Masters just wrapping up. Led me to this. So going to the Masters at Augusta is on most people's sports bucket list. So I want to know, fellas, is it on yours? And what is your overall number 1 in terms of your sports bucket list?
So I'll go first here. It is definitely on my sports bucket list. My number 1, I mean, it'd be a hard decision, but I think I would have to go with the Super Bowl. Another ones that are obviously the Masters, the Kentucky Derby, me being the Hardwood King. The other one that would be up there with the Super Bowl would be the Final Four. You also got to throw in, I know it's not a real sport, but WrestleMania would be on my bucket list too.
Kentucky Derby, I have been to, is absolutely phenomenal. Whether you like horse racing or not, it is an event. It's the most electric 2 minutes in all of sports. So I'm telling you, that one, if it's not on your bucket list right now, has to be near the top. That's something you have to go down to Louisville and experience and take that weekend in. Just awesome energy, awesome vibes. Louisville's a great host city for that. But yeah, that's definitely got to be on the list. Prowler, where you at?
Absolutely do I not have Augusta on the bucket list. That is not, I won't be there unless I got free tickets. It is just this, it's not something that I'm dying to do. Um, when you incorporate your own home team into this equation, like a game 7 Pistons, I think that would be a great environment to have it at home and do that. But there's some outside the box. Like I would love to go to Lambeau. I would love to go see all the NFL stadiums. And check out. I would say probably like 25 to 26 of these stadiums and watch my team play there, or even in the NFL, you can watch other teams play, and it's just as good seeing some of these rivalries. A Ravens Steelers game doesn't really jump off the page a lot of the times, but being in that environment and watching that game, that would be really cool. Those types of things are on my bucket list. When you remove your team from it, I think that there's some outside the box, like you guys said. But I think the one that I keep hearing from people, and I'm not a NASCAR guy, but like the Indy 500 or any of those big NASCAR races, I've heard is a wild good time. And that's
Yeah.
something that I wanted to check out that would kind of get me out of my typical sports viewing and seeing something different. I think that's a really a good one. And then one that I always recommend to people, that if you haven't been to a college hockey game, those are like cheap and easy to do, and they are so much different and fun compared to pro hockey, but also the other sports. It's a smaller condensed stadium. The chants in the student section, especially here at Yost in Ann Arbor, it is wildly fun in a way that I really promote trying to get people to go down there, because they're cheap tickets and they're fun. And if you time it up right, you can't go when the students aren't there. But that's something that I recommend everybody do. And it should be maybe not a bucket list item, but something that's very capable of doing. But bucket list, I'm saying game 7 of the NBA Finals, your team at home. I think that would be electric and one of my top picks for my bucket list.
Yeah, so you can't go wrong there. I think Yeah, I think when your team's involved, it enhances it. I keep a sports bucket list that has like a multifaceted list. So it's got like things that I want to do in general and things that I would want to do um, involving my team. So Rick definitely nailed what would have been. So my top three that I think in general would be the Masters, the Super Bowl, and the Kentucky Derby. I've already done the Kentucky Derby, but those were sort of the big three, the Mecca. The Super Bowl, if your team was in it, would be just insanity. But the Super Bowl is one of those, like, it don't matter if your team's in it or not. It's the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
So I'm actually with the king on this. For me, it's the Masters or the Super Bowl. Man, oh man, this is like 1A, 1B for me because when I think of like going to the Masters, it would be like being there on Sunday. Um, I'm gonna give the slight nod, the slightest of nods to the Super Bowl. But the Masters is the 1B right behind it. So um, I definitely want to go to Augusta. It's very high on the list. I think it's one of those things you have to experience. I want to soak that in. Look forward to doing that one day. But ultimately, football is king, right? So the Super Bowl, regardless if it's my team, just being able to be at the Super Bowl with good seats, right? You guys know I'm not a shitty seat guy, so going to the Super Bowl with good seats, I just couldn't imagine the energy and electricity in that building. And you get an awesome halftime show if it's not Bad Bunny or some of this trash that they've put out there lately. But you get the entertainment aspect of it in that aspect as well. So
I will say this caveat. I think that the Super Bowl has kind of been more like commercial based with how they do the tickets now. The conference championship game would be electric at, the Rams at Seattle and or whatever, however that went down. Those conference championship games are going to be electric in a way that's really fun too. And even getting, because that's probably more realistic going to one of those games, but you're going to get the home crowd into it where you don't really have that so much with the Super Bowl. And I think that would be something that, as you were talking, I was like, that would be just as good as the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl isn't necessarily fans of the team in the crowd like they are fans of the team in the conference championship game.
yeah, yeah, I think I mean either one would be great, right? The biggest thing about the Super Bowl is just so unaffordable for the average person nowadays if you're not talking nosebleeds. And like I said, I don't my rule of thumb is if I can see better on my TV, uh then like if I'm ever going to the venue and the seat is like I'm going to spend more time watching on the jumbotron, then I don't want that seat. Corporal, question of the week.
All right, so this kind of switches it up a little bit, but when you're starting a new show, how long do you give a new show before you stop watching it and you put it on the shelf and never pick it up again?
So there is no one size fits all for this. There's I have an answer for most, but it doesn't always make that. My general rule of thumb is that you have to give it two full episodes before you completely jump ship. But sometimes you don't make it there. That's just the reality of the situation. But I say the majority of the time, I try to give it two full episodes because that first episode's really like sort of a pilot intro episode, so you need that second episode to see how much teeth it actually has and if it's going to be something that you're going to move forward with in terms of a time investment. So 2 episodes, the general rule of thumb, but I don't always get there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say a little longer about 3 or 4 episodes. I mean, even like some of the uh, some of the series that were some of the greatest, like Breaking Bad or Sons of Anarchy. I mean, I have to myself at least, like you said, Sean. I mean, that first episode is pilot, the introduction to the characters and everybody, and yeah, my rule of thumb is 3 to 4 episodes.
I don't think it's a wrong. The only thing is if I go 4 episodes, like 4 episodes, and you're like, this stinks, you definitely feel like you made a good decision, but you also definitely are like, man, I
I
just
wasted
wasted
my time.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you got to learn to cut that off because, I've had people tell me, oh, you got to just wait till the second season starts. You're going to love it. Like, what? I got to watch a whole season to love it?
absolutely not. Yeah, fuck no. That
Yeah.
that that's way too long.
I also have a rule. If I fall asleep more than one time during the show, then I'm not going to keep watching it. I don't care anymore. And that's just a me thing. But typically it's 3 episodes. I'll force myself to watch that third episode. But if it has gotten through 3 episodes and we are not, um, I'm not interested in it and I don't care. I'm not like spending any thought power on it at any point. Then I'm done with it. And there's something else. There's too many shows. There's the shows that come out these days that are like made for streaming have too much buildup before the payoff, and I shouldn't have to wait 10 episodes to get to the payoff. There should be something that's enjoyable along the way. And I find that a lot more with the made for streaming services than I do with the made for cable services or shows. And so it's something where you get 3 episodes, especially if they're an hour long and the first one's an hour and 50 minutes. If I'm not like trying to find time to carve out to put in the show, then it's not for me. And I'm very lenient in this, but yeah, it's like three and out. Like if you haven't caught me, if you haven't hooked me on some part of your show, by then I'm done and I'm putting it on the shelf, and then I'll have to like scroll past it every time it's continue watching on Netflix or whatever streaming service it is. It'll be there forever, and it's just how it goes. But yeah, 3 is about the max.
Diesel with the quickest hook of the group. Yeah, so 2 to 4 episodes. What's for sure is the alpha perspective is we're not given more than 4 episodes. The king is being generous, but it's that we're definitely not going over 4. Like you said, Corporal, those people that are like, oh, the first season's slow, but it's like, no, then I'll never get there. If the first season sucks, I'm never getting a season 2.
Right, like Corp said, you're gonna be watching it on scrolling by and on Netflix where it says, "Oh, leaving soon." You're like, "Yeah, see you later."
Get out of here.
Well, yeah, because it annoys you when it's on your continue watching, and you're never going to continue watching.
Right.
All right, young Richard.
All right. So you got 4 choices to choose from: a layup, 1,000; free throw, 5,000; 3-pointer, 10K; half court, 50K. Which one are you choosing and why?
So for me, this was a very easy decision. I just want to get some clarity. You get one shot, right?
You get one shot, one choice, one shot. Yep.
Yep. So this was a no-brainer for me. I'm shooting the 3-pointer for 10K. I feel like I'm at least a 1 out of 3, a 33% shooter from deep. So in terms of the monetary investment, I feel like I could probably go 70-80% from the stripe, but it's only 5K. I feel like I'm 30 to 40% from deep. So the gambler in me and trusting my shooting ability, because you guys know that I've always thought of myself as a sharp shooter. I'm taking the 3-pointer for 10K. I will say the half court for 50K is tempting, but the probability is just so low that I'd rather take my chances and what I feel is going to be make myself 10 grand.
Yeah, are we talking you get like do we know this is happening so I get warm-ups beforehand or like at least time before it's just cold turkey you get called from the crowd?
No,
I mean, yeah, I mean,
I
I think you could have warm ups.
yeah.
Okay. So like that changes things. If I know that I'm gonna get warm-ups, I'll take the free throws in the 5K. If I get no warm-ups, I'm just gonna take the layup and walk away as a victory and not a fool. But it's the free throw because I know I can sink it. The 3-pointer, I probably need multiple warm-ups before I get hot, and I'm not gonna risk that. that air ball. I'll take the layup or the free throw if I get warm up, prior
You
to.
you were always a little bit of gator arm from three, always a little bit short
Oh, he said I wouldn't want to risk the air ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was always a little bit short on the deep jump shots.
Yeah, yeah, I was more of a Richard Hamilton type game.
I mean
Yeah,
that's fact. I mean, Corp knows it too. Like I can envision his shooting stroke in my mind right now, and if like Corporal didn't miss many shots long, put it that way. Like if he was missing, that's why he said risk the air ball because if he
Yeah,
missed, it was short.
yeah. I mean, it's something that you just know yourself, and it's like why do that now? If I get hot in the game, it's over. But it's that's like after playing for hours and you're warmed up and you're lathered up in basketball for days or weeks.
I do
That's
gotta I
different.
I do gotta call you out though. So like if you didn't get no warm ups, you're taking the layup. Like you're not risking the free throw.
No,
I mean,
I'm just gonna take the money. I'm like not missing the layup. Like it is 100% going in.
yeah. I mean, I think we all think we're making the layup, right? Like, but yeah, the free throw is just it seems like pretty good odds too. Like even bad free throw shooters, you got 50-50 shot at the free throw.
Yeah, but like it clinks out and you get nothing. Like this is a scenario where I'll just take the free money for being able to make a layup.
Hardwood King.
now if it was the warm up, I'm going. Let's see.
You had
I
an answer,
I
and then
I
he.
I know the king wants to go for that 50K. He's convinced he can drop one in.
Now if I have the warm up, yeah, I'm going with my person at the all or nothing. I'm going for the 50K. But
I mean, which is fair. If you have the warm ups for the half court shot, you feel like your
I'm
likelihood
gonna make one.
increases.
Absolutely.
Like I'm
But
definitely not shooting the half court shot ice cold. No way.
no. Other way though, I'm going for the free throw. I'm confident in the ice
Yeah,
cold.
yeah. I think I'm taking like I said, I'm taking the 3-pointer either way. Um, but yeah, with the warm ups, the half court shot, obviously me being the risk it for the biscuit guy as well. Like the half court shot does start gaining appeal. Uh if let's just throw out some hypotheticals. If we bump that no warm ups, but we bump that half court shot up to 150K, does that change the thought process for either of you guys?
What was the? I missed the part of that. What was that?
No warm ups. Everything else stays the same, but the half court shot's worth 150K.
I mean, I'm not doing that. I don't. I've never practiced half court shots. I thought that was a waste of time. So I just I'm 1 out of 100 anyway. So I just know myself.
Richard?
Yeah, I'm taking the 150K shot.
I
I mean,
am
if
I
you
am
said if everything else stays the same, I'm going for the 150.
I am too. 100%. I'm not like the 150. I don't care if I'm ice cold. I just told you ice cold, no way. But for 150, I'll fire ice cold from half court.
Yeah, that's an eyes too big for your stomach type situation there. Where
It 100% probably is. But let's call it. I feel like if I shot, like, what's a realistic percentage? Like, I feel like if I shot 50 of them, I'm definitely making one or two. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess I'll take my 1 in 25 shot, 1 in 25 chance that I drop it in on the first
It's
shot.
funny. Corporal said he never used to. Dude, I used to do it all the. I was when there was no one at the gym, which was not very often. But when I'd be the only person at the gym, like at Lifetime or LA Fitness, I would fire Rasheed Wallace type shots all the time.
Well, yeah, and Corporal didn't play organized basketball. So if you ever played like organized basketball on a team, I can't remember if you played middle school or not, but like you just do it. Like whenever your practice is ending or like you got some time to just screw around, like invariably, like it happens. Guys are just launching from half court. So
Oh yeah. Yep.
I've had my fair share of half court practice. It's just a low percentage shot. But for 150K, man, I'm firing away for what the basketball court's 90 something feet. So I'm firing away at the 45 footer. All right, Alpha Army question of the week. So HBO Max, there's a new season of Euphoria that is getting ready to release. They're not worried about that. They want to know, is Sydney Sweeney, the star of the show, is she the hottest? Is she the baddest broad on the planet right now?
Yes, and she's been the baddest the baddest bitch on the planet for multiple years running now. She is
Is
absolutely.
is there even like a number 2 in your mind, Rick, or is she just clear cut above everyone else right now?
No, I think she's clear cut above every other chick. I don't even. I can't even think off the top of my head on who would even be like close to her.
I feel you. I feel you. Corp, where do you stand on Sydney Sweeney and the chasm of
sh-
women?
she's the 101. I mean, I saw some of the show last night, and um, yes, she's the 101. It's simple.
Yeah,
If you haven't seen it yet, you're gonna see it, and you're gonna know. It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
So I didn't know how this question would go, honestly. Like when but yeah, I mean, it's a definite consensus. I did what Rick did. Like I tried to like reflect who would even be like in the debate right now, and man, like I couldn't get there. Like I couldn't even come up with another um good alternative option that could even remotely rival her currently. So it's like I definitely think she's
and
the
I'm not
101.
someone that woos after celebrities or has like a celebrity crush or anything like that, but you gotta respect talent.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, she's
Sabrina Carpenter's another one that's kind of can do it depending on certain
Sabrina
things.
Carpenter definitely has the sex appeal. Like it's not so much for her looks wise.
Yeah.
The other one that I was thinking about, our buddy Mitch really likes, and she's been gaining a lot of steam, is Casey Musgraves. Is pretty highly thought of in terms of like country music artist, in terms of being good looking, but she's tall. Like Casey Musgraves is tall, so it's like Sydney Sweeney's right in that sweet spot. Um, just in terms of she's not too tall, and she's proportioned in all the right places. That's being politically correct, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So Sydney Sweeney 101. If you haven't watched Euphoria, it actually is worth the watch. It's not just like sort of a chick drama show, and she is obviously incredible on that show, and she has no problem getting naked. And I've heard that will continue in season 3. And I do know the trailers that Corporal's referencing, and I hear that's just tip of the iceberg type stuff for what's to come in this season. And yeah, we all knew dudes who watched Game of Thrones or shows like that purely for the sex scene. So it's not above men out there to watch Euphoria just for Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
uh Yeah, because there was a point in time, Corp, you're better with the names, but the blonde hair, the princess in Game of Thrones, Cersei,
Yeah, yep.
Cersei, yeah, where she was at top of the throne for a while there, but yeah. All right, boys, let's shift in. Recommendation of the week.
Weekly recommendation.
So this is a movie, show, music, drink, food, health, wealth, something tangible, something you can take and apply, implement immediately, that you will see positive returns, dividends on, increase the quality of your life in some shape or form. I am going to kick us off here. I touched on this a little bit a few weeks ago when Corporal was talking about hidden menu items or limited time items, but I just wanted to fully go in on this and give it its shine, its own accord. And it is the chili cheese burrito from Taco Bell. So this is something that most people don't even know exists. If you show up and just look at the menu in your drive-through, you will not see it listed. It is a hidden menu item. It is a limited time menu item. And the kicker here, which really sets this into into its own stratosphere, is you have to get a side of nacho cheese. So you got your chili cheese burrito. You need about one side of nacho cheese, depending on how aggressive will you like to dip per burrito. Ideally for me, if you're stretching it, you can go one side for every two burritos, but I would go one for one, and you literally dip every bite of that burrito into the nacho cheese. It just creates a flavor explosion in your mouth. You're getting that cheese that melted cheese that they put on there, the shredded cheddar, combined with the chili, and then that nacho cheese just sets it into another planet. It's absolutely phenomenal. You will 100% love this, be thinking about it after the fact and be like, this is fantastic. This is one of those you can base your meal around it. They're not big, like they're a smaller burrito. So don't be afraid to order 3 or 4 of them. Just make sure you have enough cheese, because the cheese really puts it
Makes
into,
it.
yeah, the cheese puts it into the different stratosphere. They're good on their own, but dipping it into the nacho cheese every bite, like I said, just puts it into a completely different level.
And I must say about the other about how Corp said get on the the limited item train. About there, I tried those Crunchwrap sliders and they are elite,
They are,
absolutely elite.
yeah, they're fire. I
I've
like,
had them like 8
I,
times now.
yeah, I like both of them too, though. I like the
Oh
chipotle,
yeah, yep,
and I
yep.
like the jalapeno honey
Jalapeno honey
mustard.
mustard.
So they're both fire. I was actually thinking the other day, which you guys are probably picking up a theme. I love Taco Bell. Taco Bell's my 1-1 in terms of fast food. It's the GOAT. Um, but I don't know which one I like better, man. Like it's I go back and forth in terms of those Crunchwrap sliders.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it would have to be the I think the jalapeno honey mustard. I mean, I do the creamy chipotle is fire too, but I'm gonna have to give the nod to the because I always eat the creamy chipotle one first, and then I'm like I eat the other one. I'm like the jalapeno honey mustard. I'm like, yep,
I'm
I
with
know
you,
why I
Rick.
saved this one.
It's a 1A 1B, but I'm leaning the jalapeno honey mustard
Yeah.
slightly. All right, Court, what do you got for us?
All right. So I think that my recommendation is going to be Little Caesars Pizza is being undervalued, underrated. Excuse me. Um, the elite move here is do not just show up and get a hot and ready. Call ahead, place a pickup order. They make it fresh. When you don't do that, you get the leftovers. Then, when you're in there, make sure you get yourself an M&M brownie. It is so good. It is fire. You will thank me later. The combination is a great. I think that is very undervalued. Everybody's going out and spending ridiculous amounts on pizza these days for the feed our family. It's crazy. We can get the hot and readies, but you gotta call ahead. You know you're going to get it. Call ahead. It still only takes the amount of time it takes you to travel there. But call ahead and then get the brownie. It is awesome and elite. And a lot of times they have like limited time desserts in there right there to pick up. Those are usually pretty on point.
Yeah, I agree. If you are getting Little Caesars, you definitely call ahead. You don't want the stale hot and ready or extra most that's been sitting there and they're warming ovens for the last 2 hours or whatever it may be. So, like you said, that is an elite recommendation on its own. Are you a pop with your pizza guy? And yes, we live in Michigan. We say pop.
I have been without pop now for about a year and a half, so I no longer get pop. It just takes up too much room in the belly, so I want to eat the whole pizza.
There's two things I really like pop with. So I love the pop with Taco Bell. I just love that combination, and I do like pop with pizza. I'm not an every time, but like if I am, I rarely drink pop, but those are the two avenues where I'm definitely more apt to consider getting one.
Yeah, like a Coca-Cola with that, or not a sponsor, or any of the other beverages. I think pairs well, but at the same time, it's like a fake full. I'm gonna be hungry again soon, and so I just wasted the calories. I'll eat the brownie instead.
Young Richard, recommendation of
All
the
right,
week.
after talking about all this great uh, shitty fast food that is just so great for you, then switch it over to a health recommendation. So to get your good source of protein, take the grams of the protein in whatever the item is that you have and times it by 10. And if that number equals more than the calories in the item, then it's a good source of protein. If it doesn't, it's not. An example is 120 calories of 100 grams of, it has to be raw chicken breast. It has 26 grams of protein. So you times that by 10, it's a lot more than 120 calories. So get your good source of protein and do your math.
You heard it here first from Mr. Health, young Richard the King. All right, boys, shifting in. It's the final segment in our Alphas in Action. You know what time it is.
Power stance.
We're going to hope Corporal doesn't cough up a lung today. So let's hear it, Corporal, and let's hear it.
Power stance. Um, Networking is the best way to get ahead. And so you need to make connections, talk to people outside of your circle, get to know people, take people out to lunch, start networking, because as you do this, your ceiling will rise. You'll get to know things you didn't know, and you can improve your status just by a conversation. Networking is the best way to get ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that.
Absolutely.
In life, the adage that I subscribe to unequivocally is it's not what you know, it's who you know. So that don't mean that you can be dumb as shit and not knowledgeable on things, but your network, the who you know, means more than how well or what you know. Young Richard, let's hear it and let's hear it.
Power stance. So my power stance of the week is this. Nobody wants to listen to your music, videos, etc. with you on your phone in public, especially at the gym. Go buy some damn earbuds or cheap headphones, you damn scumbag. Like
I'm
I can't stand it at the gym. Like I'm in the sauna, people got either motivational videos or just music videos or watching a show. It's like, dude, you're at the gym. You're number one, you're in the sauna, like, or in the sauna. It's like, dude, come on. Like some guy yesterday was like listening to like and I don't care what religion you are, but he's like listening to like it was in a different language, like a prayer or something. I'm like, dude, no one wants to hear that.
Yeah, this is one that like the heavy majority of people are gonna absolutely agree with you. The other one where you see people do it is if you're sitting at a bar. So if you're sitting at a bar, you'll see someone have the phone and they're on TikTok or what they're watching Netflix or whatever. Like they're there solo and they're playing their thing out loud. It is distracting. Earbuds are they're so accessible nowadays, and it just makes it so easy. There's really no excuse because the other thing is I definitely don't want to listen to your music too. You know what I mean? Like if we're all in a sauna or we're ever, like I don't want to hear your music. Like if I wanted to hear music,
Right.
I would play mine.
Yeah,
So
I'm typical. I typically have one earbud in at all times, like type thing, where like you're not going to know whether I'm listening to it or not. But like, I don't want to hear your music in my other ear while I'm listening to music at the gym. And
right.
I was curious at how Beach was hearing other people without having his own headphones. But then he said sauna. I'm like, are you a treadmill guy without headphones, without music? Like, are you that insane?
Oh no.
Like,
I'm in the sauna for like 20-25 minutes, so
yeah, that's
it's
different. That's got a little
it's
moisture in
pointless
there.
to keep my headphones in there and then
And is physical activity the only time that you double your butt up or like on an airplane or something? Because like if I'm sitting somewhere, like if I'm at a Panera or if I'm at a bar or something, I'm only going with the one earbud in. Like I don't want double earbud up because then you lose the like your surroundings. Like it's almost like you're sitting there and but you're not there.
If I'm giving
right.
off the fuck off, like don't talk to me, then I'll put the second one in. Like if I'm just like wherever I'm at, if I have two, like you're not talking to me if I have two earbuds in. I'll do the thing where I have to take it out. Like, would you say? Even if I could hear them. Like, so it's a fuck off kind of standpoint. But yeah, it's typically one, wherever I'm at, so that way I can keep my wits about me.
Yeah. Yeah. You just lose like your perspective when you're double earbutted up in a public place. All right, boys. Power stance. And the Diesel's coming in with a hard hitter. People that protest for the sake of trying to influence in person are idiots. So let me elaborate just a little bit more. If you're protesting for the sake of trying to go viral or to become like a news story or something that's going to further give visibility to your cause, I can respect and understand that. But if your primary goal of protest is to convert someone's opinion or influence on the street, like an old school, like grassroots, door to door, person to person type of influencing, you are a fucking moron. Like you are an idiot and you are wasting your fucking time. And you see these people out here protesting whatever the fuck it is. But if your goal is to try to change my opinion or influence me as I'm walking by or whoever that may be, you're dumb. You are just a fucking moron. Cut and dry. Thank you for joining in again. Follow, like, listen, subscribe. Get us on X, Alpha's Talk Pod. We post picks beyond the bets of the week. The King delivers heaters on there. We give great content. This is your host, Dun Diesel, signing out, reminding you as always, don't be a beta bitch. Alpha's out.